Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are we? Bueno, Concrete, Shalom, Garrett, Danielle. Good morning. Militant Roots. Good morning. PM Prepper, Big Mike, Jason, Devin. Good morning. You weren't here before me, bro. It wouldn't have been a live stream to be at if you were here before me. Little insider baseball. I could sit here and look at the screen and tell how many people are waiting before I press go live. Good try, though. Yeah, we'll talk about that. It is, oh, and we're over 100 people. That means we can get started. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's in the low 40s right now. High yesterday was like 80. High today is about 80, so it's that time of year where Oklahoma really tries to kill you. It's a good time, lots of pollen in the air. Everybody around here has got a bit of the sniffles going on. So, morning NWA Prepper. Yeah, it's chilly. It's not cold, it's just kind of chill in the air. It's nice. Let's talk about capacity to act. Not just the ability to act, but capacity to act. This is what was on my heart this morning when I woke up at 5:44 in the morning, local. And the ability to act or react is predicated on having the skills, talents, abilities, and the equipment to deploy or employ against whatever the hazard is, whatever the issue is. You know, if you have a car accident, okay, so you're going to immediately be checking for casualties in your own car and the other car that was hit, and then you need some commo, you need a way to contact the sheriffs or the local PD or EMS or whatever, and then they show up and then they have their own resources, traffic control, medical personnel. They usually start a wrecker and send a wrecker out to grab the car. Sometimes there's some type of investigation if there was vehicular homicide, if somebody died or was seriously injured. Then there's reporting that happens for the insurance companies, and there's all this capacity, there's all this ability to act, and there's all these different circles of action, starting from the person that caused the accident in the first place, all the way out to tens, dozens, maybe even 100 people involved in processing that one car accident. They all have the ability to act. And we as, gosh, I hate the word prepper, we as preparedness-minded individuals should have, and many times do have, the ability to act. How much capacity do you have to continue to act? Not be acted upon, but to act. Let's talk about that as well. There's a difference between being reactive and proactive. There's a difference between acting and being acted upon. Because we stockpile material goods and we train with those material goods, and we have the skill set, heart set, mindset to use those material goods in an effective and efficient manner, it gives us the ability to be proactive rather than reactive. I am not the person after the hurricane, waiting for help to show up so that I can have a warm meal. I am the person bringing the warm meals after the hurricane. This is oftentimes summed up at this channel as positions of strength. Morning Dudley, positions of strength. I have to be good so I can get you good. Essentially, I need to be constantly and consistently in a position of proactivity, or at least have the ability to be proactive, because that allows me to respond if when things get sideways. I get a vote. I get a vote. I get to have some say as to how this thing is going to go. When you're being reactive, you have much less of a say about how this thing is going to go, because other people are setting the pace. Other people are determining the hard left and right limits of how we're going to respond to this. You don't get a vote because you don't have the capacity or the ability to act. Homemade gummy bears, double tapping hillbilly. Thank you for the mug and for everything else you do, brother. Bless you. So, getting back to capacity to act. This is a function of stuff on the shelf, a function of depth of conviction, and probably a function of buy-in and ability to sustain and maintain operations. So, capacity to act first comes to, or first we will examine how much stuff you got on the shelf. Doesn't matter how accurate your rifle is if you don't have any ammo for it, right? Does it make sense? Doesn't matter how convicted you are to feed the masses if you don't have any food for it. You can't be the regional coordinator for your group of mags in your area if you don't have the ability to communicate. And you very probably won't have the ability to communicate if you don't have the ability to recharge batteries. Capacity. So, not just stockpiling material things, but having the ability to produce or acquire material things. I just shot a Patreon video a couple of days ago that Badger asked about, hey, what do we do after the balloon goes up and we can't just run down to the store? How do we get the things that we need but that we don't produce on property? Like if you need a new pair of jeans, or new to you pair of jeans, where do those come from, right? And so, not just the ability to consume what we've stockpiled, but to replace what we have consumed through production. Moving our mindset from consumer to producer is very valuable because it gives us a greater capacity to act. People, having more people, gives us a greater capacity to act because we're putting less strain on each individual person. We can accomplish larger things, or we can accomplish the same things more quickly, and or we can rotate our people in and out. So, by rotating our people in and out, they have lower exposure to the situation, whatever it may be, which means their batteries stay recharged for longer, which means that we have a greater capacity to act. This is about longevity, being able to do these things for a great period of time. And there are many people who are new to preparedness who don't have 3 months worth of food yet, but who are scared at the idea of having to have a year's worth of food, and perhaps don't understand why we even recommend having a year's worth of food. It's for the long haul. It's for the long haul. Things could stay weird for a long time. And I want to be able to be strong for as long as possible. I want to have greater capacity to act. Stacked into the rafters and raise the rafters. Agreed. Greater capacity to act. It's not just about having people. It's about having the right people. It's not just about having all kinds of, food mess everywhere. It's about having the right food. It's not just about having, 17 different random calibers of ammunition. It's about having the correct calibers of ammunition in the correct amounts for the correct weapon systems. So forth and so on. Do you factor orchards and live animals into your year's food supply? Nope. I predict zero consumption of agriculture during that year's worth of food supply. The whole reason that year's worth of food supply exists is to spin up our agriculture. To give you an example, right now I have 10 pregnant ewes. They've all been pregnant before, which means the statistical likelihood of them all throwing twins now is very high. Which means that within the next few months, I'm gonna have sheep have a 5-month gestation period. So within about the next 3 months, I have a very high likelihood to have anywhere between 10 and 20 more lambs. Praise Yah. But I don't have them yet. Therefore, they don't exist. I'm not putting those eggs in my basket. So, I don't count them. The food storage exists solely to get our food production up and running. Or, if you believe that the system will come back around, it exists to act as a cushion to allow you to absorb the blow of the system getting chaotic and unreliable. So, however long you think the system will be unreliable for, that is how much food you should have on hand. I believe in a minimum of a year. And frankly, it's not that hard. Good morning, Charles Kelly. A large herd of mostly corn-fed deer here, LOL. Researched the Great Depression. Game animals were hunted almost to the brink of extinction within 1 year. The fact that we have a whitetail deer season in almost every state in the United States at this point is for no other reason than violent application of conservation after the Great Depression. The eastern wild turkey, the American white-tailed deer, wild boars, squirrels, rabbits, everything else that you can, whether you should or shouldn't, but that you can eat, was hunted to the brink of extinction within 360 days of the stock market crash. So, yeah, you could get some now. You ain't gonna get some a year from now or whatever 0 day is. That's why we believe, that's why I say all the time, good morning, brother. You cannot hunt, fish, trap, scavenge, forage your way to prosperity in times of chaos. Coffee's inside on the counter. At least I very strongly recommend that you do not attempt to hunt, fish, trap, scavenge, forage your way to prosperity in times of chaos. I know 2 people in my entire life, in my entire life's experience, I know 2 people that I'm fairly certain could do it if they have to. Two. Most people can't do that. If they could do that, they would already be doing it. There's a word for this. I can't remember what it's called because coffee. But the less you know about something, the more you think you know about something. The more you know about something, the more you realize you don't know anything about it. Bearings and bless you. Shalom. Hydration is indicated, amen. Dunning-Kruger effect, thank you. Exactly. So, those that think they're gonna hunt their way through a societal collapse have probably not done much hunting. I've done a good bit of hunting. A lot of that was wasted calories and time for days, sometimes weeks on end, trying to find something that was worth shooting to put in my belly. So, versus I can see a whole bunch of meat from here. So, much easier to spin up agriculture if you can. The reason we have agriculture is to lighten the load on our food stores. The reason we have our food stores is to buy us time if we get into a real societal collapse, if things significantly break down. Remember that essentially what's being perpetrated right now in the United States of America with this 2020 election is the precursor to a communist revolution. And what is promised, once the useful idiots are rounded up and dealt with, whisked away, what is promised to the proletariat, to the regular folks? Peace, land, and bread. Well, that would be an indicator, if it's being promised to those people, that they don't have peace, land, or bread. So what should you have now so that you don't need it from them? Peace, land, and bread. Because those three things, having those three things, make you incredibly independent of the system. Think about it. Bama Buckeye, good morning. Peace, land, and bread. We know where peace comes from. It comes from the Most High and the Ruach HaKodesh. But also physical peace, lack of war. War is a game of resources. You don't want to be involved in somebody else's game of resources, which means you need your own. You also, militant farmer concept, need to have a sharp enough point on your spear that you can maintain an appropriate distance from potential tyranny so that your resources remain your own. Peace. Land. Why land? Because where these revolutions are taking place are in the cities. Cities consume. They do not produce. Suburbs consume. They do not produce. You don't get into production, the very beginnings of production on a macro scale until you get to the edge of the suburbs, the edge of town, at the earliest, the edge of town. When you get into rural and wilderness areas that resources are produced, the higher the population density, the higher the consumption. Generally speaking, the lower the population density, the greater the production. So why land? Because at some point, all these morons are going to realize you can't eat concrete and asphalt. It doesn't matter how good your schools are if nobody's going to them. It doesn't matter how nice the shops are when they're all closed and half of them have their windows broken out and have been set on fire, or how safe the neighborhood is when all the police have been defunded. All the things that made that living situation attractive in the first place have literally or figuratively burned to the ground. And then people start to realize, oh, I've been subcontracting my own well-being to the system for so long that I might just have to go get my own piece of land so I can take responsibility for myself. Well, how does that play into what's going on in the big picture? Socialism says you can own that land. The government just gets to tell you what to do with it, how to produce it. We need soybeans and you're a farmer. No, I'm not. I'm an economist with a PhD. Doesn't matter. You now own land. Now you're a farmer. You will grow soybeans. Yeah, but I don't want... You will grow soybeans. Okay, I will grow soybeans. Peace, land, and bread. There's 87 references to food shortage in the Bible. As if the Father was trying to get our attention or something. We know food production right now is down. We know that the population continues to grow. Food scarcity is very likely going to become a real thing in the very near future. Six months ago, it did not matter how much money you had. You could not buy toilet paper. If you had decided that you would pay $1,000 for a roll of toilet paper, one roll, wouldn't matter. Couldn't find it. Doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't find bread. You can't eat the money. I am not necessarily happy to say, but I will relate to you that for the first time in a long time, we had a little bit of money left over. We were looking for something to invest it in. And the markets are so volatile that, and the dollar has lost so much of its purchasing power since the beginning of COVID, that rather than putting it in the markets at a net loss because of the valuation of the US dollar, we bought food storage with it. Even more food storage. Because I can't eat that dollar. I can't eat that worthless dividend check. It's not tangible. I think the world needs to shift into appreciation for the tangible while giving praise and glory to the intangible, the creator of all things. So peace, land, and bread. That's what's promised to those that would go along with the revolution. If you don't want to go along with it, you probably ought to have some of your own before, potentially, the world ends. And to hit it from a completely different angle. Peace, land, and bread. We act as if we're doing a disservice to ourselves by requiring us to live this way. The fact of the matter is, I've never been more fulfilled. Never. I've done a lot of cool things, gone a lot of cool places, met a lot of cool people, made a lot of money in my life. This old barn and these stupid chickens are a blessing. So peace. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with the man that I was. I'm at peace with my Creator. And I'm physically at peace with my surroundings. Other than the occasional chicken that needs to get whacked with a paintball, I'm physically at peace here. Nobody's trying to set me on fire. Nobody's trying to burn my storefront down. Nobody is rioting in the streets. Land, praise the Most High, we have land. Praise the Most High, we're buying more land. And we're acquiring still yet more land. Because it has inherent value. They're not making any more of it. And I don't care about cool new shoes or the newest video game or trying to put people on Mars. I don't care about that because they're intangibles. They have no inherent value. As I mentioned, I've already made a bunch of money in my life. Won it and lost it. When I say won, I mean won with blood, sweat, and tears. Pounds of flesh. I've already played those games. And bread. You know how cool it is to eat breakfast sausage that you made with your own hands? Literal own hands. From the slaughtering to the frying pan. Couple that with a couple of eggs that come out of the rear ends of one of these morons running around out here. Literally make bread from scratch with the wheat that you stored. Grind it up. Add some yeast, water, pinch of sugar, pinch of salt. Let it turn into bread and make it from scratch. Everybody else is concerned about GMO this and processed that and high fructose blah 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 and preservatives. Yeah, we eat prepackaged food. We also eat real food. And it's real damn good. And so, peace, land, and bread. Praise the Father, I've already got mine. And I'm not dependent upon some other man to give it to me and promise, or in exchange for my fealty, my allegiance to their political ideology, or their particular brand of theology. Which means that I can act rather than be acted upon. And because we go deep here, it means that I have the capacity to act for a greater period of time, which gives me longevity as the world continues to burn. I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, we're back on the friggin' rapture. Turn the comments back on. The first damn comment there is on the rapture, Phelps. Can you believe it? Put your hope not in man. Call no man master but your Father in heaven. The rapture's man-made. Research John Darby. Just stop what you're doing. Go research John Darby. I enjoy this channel too. I'm glad you do, 420 nerd. We are not, just so everybody's on the same page here, we are not gonna have a big old fight about the rapture this morning. Because here's the deal. I don't want it to disturb my shalom. I'm just gonna tell you to go research John Darby and look into the rapture doctrine. There are literal churches on the face of this earth today, elsewhere, Asia comes to mind today that don't know what the rapture is, because it's taught in the United States and predominantly the United States only. And it is not a biblically sound concept. So, anywho, if you read the Bible, what you realize is that the Father does not keep his people from going through hard times. He stewards them through hard times. And so with that, we will end all conversation on the rapture now. Everybody in the chat, you've been warned. We're not going to go any deeper into it right now, nor am I. And if anybody fails to adhere to that, you will get your pee-pee schwacked the first time and you will be removed the second time. Is everybody clear? Good. Challah bread. Shalom. So, well, good morning, Mitch Morris. I hope everything is well in your world, brother. Oh, man, Phelps is here? Hey, Phelps, did you know that Phelps is here? Oh, man, you should boot that guy. Bear, what do you think about paganism? Ha, 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 ha. Quit worshiping the creation and worship the Creator. How's that for an answer? And all your lowercase g gods, go read the story of Elijah, Yeshayahu. Let's start with that. It's not that there isn't power in the name of Baal. It's that Baal doesn't have anything that the Father didn't create or give to him in the first place. And so, yeah, you can, it's like, do you worship the seed inside the apple, or do you worship the tree that the apple came from? And that's just the analogy, because the answer is neither. You worship the Creator that created all of those things, who literally is unfathomable, incalculable, infinite, the Aleph and the Tab, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, who was and is to come. And when you realize how big and powerful he is, and that he would still strive with you, relentlessly pursue you. If you're not humbled, you're doing it wrong. Homie recipes for biscuits and bread. I'll talk to her about it. You know, Odin's wolf, there's a story in the Apocrypha about Abram, who becomes Abraham. And he's got Abraham's daddy, Abram's daddy, has this altar room. And there's all these carved idols in there. There's one big one and a bunch of little ones. And so Abram goes in there with a hammer and starts smashing all the little ones. And his dad comes home from work and he's like, Abram, what the hell is going on over here? And Abram says, well, Dad, that one big one got pissy and started smashing all the little ones. And Abram's dad goes, Bullshizer, he can't do that. He's just a block of wood. I know you did it. And Abram says, if he's just a block of wood, why are you bowing down to him? Let that sink in a moment. So, what about a biscuits and gravy video for Patreon? Bonus, Bear gets biscuits and gravy. I think we could do that. Mr. Phelps commented recently that the biscuits and gravy we made during Sukkot was the best biscuits and gravy he had ever had, and he counts himself an expert on the subject, being a Texan and whatnot. So, he said he's also had biscuits and gravy in multiple states and multiple countries. So, yeah. Where does one buy wheat? At this point, grain silos, feed stores. You don't want inoculated wheat, you just want wheat. Any traction on the beef bacon recipe? It's coming, man. It's coming. Too many questions. Too fast. Wheat. I get mine from farmers at a silo. So, oh my gosh. We're still going on with this Chinese invasion. Good morning. It's not the perfect month to release a cookbook because technically speaking, it's a sabbatical month for me, and yet here I am talking to y'all again. We have a lot of other things going on. Who is China invading? No one. No one. You love us. Yeah. Yeah. I do. Just act right. Okay, November then. Who cares? I don't know, Chris Owens. Who cares? If China invaded the United States from Canada, you would literally see the largest global pee-pee schwacking that has ever occurred. Ever in the history of humankind. I got a question for you. If you spent as much time actually getting prepared as you did investigating internet conspiracies, how much better prepared would you be? Honest question. Is it an hour a day? Should you be doing burpees and push-ups and rucking with that hour instead? Or putting rice and beans in buckets? Or pressing ammo? Or reading your Bible? Or hanging out with your loved ones? Building real relationships? Weeding your garden? Digging drainage ditches? Best music to listen to while grinding wheat. Battles in the North by Immortal. Probably. I'd start there. Yeah, ammo prices are insane. It's, and it insider intel can be a little frustrating on this side It's like, I've been telling you for 2.5 years, buy ammo. Like, wow, this shit's expensive. It wasn't 2.5 years ago. How do I find wheat? Well, if you freaking had started 1.5 years ago, you wouldn't have as much of a hard time finding it now. And I try and be patient with y'all, I really do, but many, many times I feel like someone alone in the wilderness screaming at the sky, hoping that people will pay attention. Because I don't want y'all to be acted upon, I want you to be able to act. And I know that there's so many people that are brand new to this, and so I don't fault you for that. And I know that there's so many people that have been here and have been doing this for a long time that still aren't ready, and I kind of do fault you for that. Either way, just do it. We are getting to the point now, yeah, things are expensive. They're getting expensive. We talked about this during the Sukkot. You're going to have to start making decisions. My thoughts are, if every gun has 100 rounds, you're good. I disagree strongly with that statement, and I'll come back to that in a moment. We're getting to the point where you are going to have to start making serious decisions about how to spend your resources. Are we still trying to have vacations? Are we trying to make sure that our children will eat if things go sideways? Do I give a shit about what's in my 401k, or do I need a piece of land? Do I need the $70,000 truck or car or whatever, or do I just need to be able to get around? It's time to prioritize and execute, folks. Now, 100 rounds per gun. If you went to the range once per week, which you should, I have been to the range 6 times in the last 12 days. Now, granted, I own the range. But if you went to the range once per week, which is how I like to roll, and you shot 50 rounds of handgun ammunition and 2 rifle magazines, that would be, just for one shooter, 2,600 rounds of handgun ammo per year, and what, 3,120 rounds of rifle ammunition per year, just to practice with 50 rounds of handgun and 2 magazines, 60 rounds of rifle. So you're talking over 5,000 rounds per year just for minimum practice. Minimum. So that gets back to Bear, how much ammo should I have? That, at a minimum, plus enough to keep the gun fed if you need to, y'all forbid if you need to actually deploy it. I think 1,000 rounds per rifle is a minimum. Is a minimum. And a few hundred rounds per handgun is a minimum. So got just under 150 on the carrier, right? Yep. I'm running these days 180 on the carrier, plus 1 in the gun, plus 2 more in the day pack, plus 2 on the battle belt. So, 10 plus 1. I was meaning 100 for the fight when I said that. You'd be okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's too much ammo in a firefight. No such thing. So,
There's not enough loaded in bags.
yeah.
That exists.
Yeah. Yep. Not enough loaded in bags. Yep. Matthew Boyston, shalom, brother. So, just think about training. Again, capacity to act. Not just how much ammo do I have on the shelf. How much ammo am I practicing with each week? That's 110 rounds a week at a minimum, and I can tell you, I shoot more than that each week. Yeah, a rifle is useless if you can't hit with it. That's exactly right. That's why we practice hitting with it. So, yes, dry fire can make you better. You have to know how to fire before you know how to dry fire. So that's something to be aware of. It's not necessarily a good tool for brand new shooters because it can ingrain bad habits. So you want to make sure that people have a good press, good sight picture, good sight alignment, good trigger squeeze before they start practicing all of that wrong. Digging, just get some snap caps, buddy. Have crossbow with 300 arrows. Roger that, Michael. Michael is on the Bison Technical with his crossbow. Do you have a 100-quart-ish stock pot? I do not have a 25-gallon stock pot that I know of. However, my wife might. $32 for a 5-quarter deck board, $21 for a 2x6. You're in the wrong place, Jason. $50 for OSB. Suggestions on how to keep chickens out of raised beds. Put a damn fence around the raised beds. That's what we had to do. Chickens are voracious. They're velociraptors. They will get into everything. So, yeah, you gotta put a fence around them. Get a good work table. That's overlooked. I like to make my own work tables. I've built a lot of them on construction sites and wood shops and so forth. EMT to my maggots, awesome. If you go to the pistol range and drop 3 to 5 rounds in a group, do you need to shoot more? Yes. You also need to shoot not just standing still at static targets, but you need to shoot real targets at real ranges while moving. For example, I do on handgun instruction here that we do on site, typically starts with a discussion about absolute accuracy versus practical accuracy. And it starts with me drawing my weapon from my holster and shooting a target and shooting a group roughly about that big fairly quickly from 10 yards. And then it goes to, and we turn and face this way, and there's steel silhouettes over there 40 yards away. Let's now shoot those steel silhouettes with that same handgun at that same range, at same rate of fire. So, shooting holes in paper at 3 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards is not the same as being able to move around. Ulfanar Tribesman, shalom, brother. Suggestions to stop chickens eating laid eggs. I have ceramics in the bins that hasn't phased them. Higher protein and add grit. Add grit to the feed. They make like an oyster shell grit. They need that, all that calcium to make the eggs. They're after the egg shells. It's this weird thing. They don't know that they need, they don't know that they shouldn't eat their eggs. They just know that they need more calcium to lay more eggs. So, oyster shells for calcium. Yep. So, Barry, what do you mean by sweet feed. If you go to any feed store and ask for sweet feed, it's essentially pellets of feed that have been coated in molasses. That's sweet feed. It comes in a red bag at Atwood's or Tractor Supply. It's like $7 a bag. And let me tell you, it'll put some, you're welcome, Bama Buckeye. It'll put some good fat on your animals before you butcher them. Our sheep that we butchered, butchered 3 sheep this year for Sukkot. One specifically for breakfast sausage. You're welcome, Ulfanar tribesmen. One specifically for breakfast sausage, and then 2 more for our opening day celebration. One for the spit, and then one that we did on the grills. I'm telling you, man, those grilled hindquarters. Oh my gosh. Oh. But there was a perfect amount of fat on these animals. Perfect amount of fat, which is contributes to the flavor, and when you're roasting them, keeps them from drying out. So they were absolutely wonderful, and sweet feed does that. So good morning, Tracy Chen. Yeah, absolutely delicious. In fact, not that far from now, not that long from now, we'll be eating another one at somebody's wedding. So, yeah, you can give them their eggshells back, for sure. For Sheezy. So, is everybody tracking on the topic of this morning's live stream? Capacity to act. Is everybody getting that? You understanding what we're talking about here? Derek Proctor, I've been giving it to you for 53 minutes, homie. Good morning, Mark Chase. Okay, we gotta do this. Chris Auzier, or Oxier, or whatever, said, Shalom Bear, if a person was looking to join a mag, what do you think a good skill to know would be to be more beneficial to that mag? Gotta do this. Chris, here's the deal. And to everybody else who's running a mag, a group, a tribe, a community watch, a freaking Little League team, stop recruiting on skill set. Just hear me out here. Stop recruiting on skill set. If you recruit on skill set only, rather than heart set and mindset, your crew's going to be all jacked up. Because people have different levels of buy-in, and people don't want to be there. I've lived this, I've done this, I've played these games. Skill set alone is nothing. I don't want people that just have skill sets. I want people who want to be here. And then we will figure out what skills they have, and we will pour into those skills. And successful groups and groups that have good resiliency and longevity are groups that are built around wanting to be here. It's not about what can a group do for me, it's about what can I do for the group. And far too many times people try and recruit members about, did y'all read my emails in all caps? I have no idea, bro. It's like the 4th time I've seen it. I get 1,500 to 2,000 emails a day. At some point, somebody on the team will read it, and if it warrants it, they'll forward it to me. I don't know. Okay? But that's a hell of a way to get my attention. Don't appreciate it. Getting back to skill sets. Don't recruit on skill set. Recruit on people who want to be there. And once they've proved that they want to be there, then love you back. Then pour into whatever their natural giftings, talents, and abilities are. Okay? Now, what skills are useful to a mag? All of them. All of them. Okay? They're all useful. There's 2 columns. Militant farmer concept. Everybody should be able to work a shovel, and everybody should be able to work a rifle. Under those 2 things, under those 2 columns, those 2 headings, fall all the other skills. Okay? And if I'm recruiting you based upon what you can do for me, you should be suspicious of me. You tell me, Chris, what do you bring to the table? Why should you be here? Next. So, yes, tactical shovels should all have O-lights on them. Where do you keep bees? No, I do not. I got a neighbor that does, though. Thank you on the compliments on the bathhouse. I'll be doing an in-depth video on Patreon about it. So, little walkthrough. What about a sling? For the bathhouse, I don't want to be carrying it around military use. Brian Miller, Shalom Brother Bear, we're finally in position to get completely out of debt, but is it better to have cash on hand in case S actually HTF? Get your ass out of debt, bro. Okay? Without knowing your unique situation, don't be tempted to start spending that money. Get out of debt, especially secured debt, because secured debt will be the first things that they take, because there's inherent value. If there wasn't, they wouldn't have loaned you money against it. Okay? Get out of debt. Just get out of debt. Every dollar you earn after you're out of debt is 100% yours. Well, other than the government's, but just go with me on this. Get out of debt. If you have the opportunity to do it, then do it. Just get out of debt. Okay? Then next week when your paycheck comes in, you can go, what are we going to do with all of this money? Now stack it. Okay? Because the S might not HTF, and you need to be out of debt, period, for life, not just for, in case the world ends. No, for your life, you need to be out of debt. So get out of debt, okay? Let's just reset the whole credit thing, let everyone start over. Turns out that's a biblical principle. It's called the Jubilee year, and it happens once every 50 years. Bear, what do you think about permaculture? It's cool, but I'm not a hippie cultist, so. All right, Prepper Trucking, you're friggin' done. Bye. Bye. The emails aren't just for you. There's an imminent cyber attack. Oh, got it. Thanks, bro. Hey guys, if there is an imminent cyber attack and you never see me again, I promise you I will repent over schwacking his pee-pee. And we can all say, yep, Prepper Truckin' was right. However, I'm just saying, pretty sure I'll be here tomorrow. And if I'm not, you know what I will be doing? Same old bear stuff, just without the camera on. So with that, I got stuff to do, and I'm getting kind of pissed. Good morning, brother. You're gonna freeze to death. Why don't you have a jacket on? Whatever. You're just in time to pray. I'm a GTFO this thing. Shut up, rooster! Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for that meathead and for a nice, cool morning and for provision and blessing and protections, Father. Father Yah, if there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. I pray that you'd fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for wisdom and discernment, for strength and power and authority, and for peace. Father, all these people within the sound of my voice, I'll lift them up to you, even those paganistic heathens that don't quite know you yet, but should. Father, I pray that you would work in their life today, that you would build testimony in us and through us, and that you would create opportunities for us to come to know you better. And ask all these things in Yeshua's name. Amen.